always network before you ever need something from anyone. Because the reason for that is like in college, networking was something that I always hated and was always a pain and
Mm.
stressed me out because it's like, okay, my dad's a pilot, so like great career, like well established professional, does well for himself. But he had like my family had some friends who I talked to like in the more business sphere, but that was more like business and finance. And even that was there wasn't much opportunity there. And I didn't say in college, I didn't have a network of people who I can talk to
Mm.
about like getting into companies and stuff like that. So the whole networking thing left such a bad taste in my mouth because it was me being like, okay, I have to get I do want to wind that statement back a little bit because I did have some family friends who I got some good internships and stuff for. And
Mm.
ultimately, my first job was from a connection that I was able to make with people. But I guess the point I'm getting at is there was a lot of time period when I was looking in a couple different industries, especially ones I was less familiar with. It did
Mm.
feel like a mad rush where it's like, okay, I have like this ticking clock where I want to do X and Y because I took these classes on it and it seems cool. How the heck do I get into it? Well, everyone says network. Like if you just put your resume out on the Glassdoor or whatever site you're using, it's just gonna get lost in the mix. And it's like, okay, we're students, we don't have that much time. How do I like network? And it's like you get into these networking opportunities, and it's like, I got a ticking clock of only a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like, and you kind of, I felt like I had to be a little bit more aggressive than I wanted to in my ask, where it's
It's
like,
terrible.
yeah, it's like it's such a weird situation because you're basically like, "Hi, I know I just met you, but I'm really desperate. I need to make money. Can you hire me? You know nothing about me." So that whole thing was something that I don't know. It's like it kind of like left this question mark and problem in my head that I've been thinking about for a couple of years, and it's affected how I've interviewed at Oracle because I don't like asking people for things, especially when they don't like know me and stuff, because I don't know, like it feels like I'm overreaching a bit. So my whole thing with networking at Oracle has been I want to connect and talk to people who I'm just interested in having a relationship with. Like if I'm reaching out to people networking, I don't want something from you. I'm trying to definitely learn from you and build a relationship. And
Exactly.
hopefully in the future we can help each other. But giving yourself that space, I don't think many people realize how important it is because when you're calm and you don't expect anything and you're just like casually like, hey, nice to meet you, like let's get to know each other,
It's like
your
genuine.
yes, and your energy is so much different
Mm.
than that frazzled desperate like, hi, please help. I'm like, because and like we're also there's something about like human nature where like when someone comes on a super strong like that and that kind of like frazzled desperate energy, they could be the nicest most talented person in the world. It puts like a spit in like a defensive like, whoa, like you're a bit like of an octave above me. So
Right.
yeah, and that's why I just
Yes.
like want to touch on like how like that's another reason why it's like start planting those seeds well in advance because the amount of like patience and how you can kind of sit with yourself calmly, big difference in terms of how you start to build your career.
Yeah. So, okay. I feel like networking, like we use it a lot, and I think it's because we're like talking about work, you know. But in general, I would say it's more of like if you see someone, right, that at work or even in school, like I think I did my master's at the right time where I was mature enough to talk to teachers without feeling like I was, I don't know, forcing things, you know, like maybe go, you know, when you maybe go to a teacher and you're like, hi, how are you? Have a good day or whatever. And you feel like you're kind of, I don't know, acting like you want them to like you or something or stand up from the class. Like I feel like I didn't do that on in my undergrad because that's not me, you know. But when I moved to my master's, I did build relationships with my teachers, but because I actually wanted to learn, you know, I was way more mature in that sense. And then they started, I think, liking me because I actually wanted to learn, you know?
Mhm.
So when I moved to Oracle, again, I'm super shy. Like I normally don't open up to people that easily and stuff, you know? So when I moved to Oracle and I saw someone that was doing something that I thought was cool. Like let's say they just gave a presentation and I thought their presentation was great, you know? I would go back to them and I would be like, wow, your presentation was great. Do you have any tips? Or if I'm preparing for a presentation, I'm going to reach out to them and see what their feedback is, right? Or if I think something is cool, I'll go to them and then I'll ask them, hey, do you need help with anything? Can I help you with anything? I would love to learn about this. And this is just genuine stuff without
Mhm.
me thinking, wow, I want them to hire me, because that's just not the way at least I was thinking during my first year as a solution engineer. I already said that, I was thinking on just staying there for I don't know how long, until I actually felt like I had experience as a solution engineer. So I think it's just about building genuine connections inside of Oracle.